How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about MMAT metamaterials. It had quite the pullback inside of the market, but you know what? We're going to do an update video and get into it. But before I get started, of course, I got to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over, of course, is a technical analysis. Many are saying, Dre, this portion of the video has been super helpful. You've been telling us what is the downside risk actually looking like, and as we can see it pulling back, a lot of you are not surprised by it. You are seeing the price action, but anyways, we're going to be taking a look at our indicators and seeing what could possibly happen going into next week and what we want to look forward to in regards to seeing a bullish trend. And then secondly, we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information. We want to know what is the borrow free. We want to know how many shares are available. We want to see some changes in regards to seeing, hey, does it still have that short squeeze potential? And then afterwards, we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what are the inflows, what are the outflows, are institutions loading up on shares? We're going to find out. And then when all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's jump into it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for MMAT metamaterials. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $3.63, being down 4.22%. On the low, it tested $3.60, and then on the high, testing $3.90. When we take a look at the volume stats, you can see as far as how many shares are traded today, it was at 12.516 million. And as far as for the average volume over 10 trading days, it is around 25.156 million. So definitely below average there, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing this strong pullback in the stock price. When we take a look at the RSI down below, you can see it's around 38.15. So of course it is in the oversold territory. When we take a look at our indicators on the chart, we are below the 21-day EMA. We're also below the 100-day. But you can see here, we're almost just sitting right here on the 200-day being at $3.55, and we closed at $3.63. We did test $3.60 on the day, and we're able to actually hold up that level. But what we want to look forward to, especially going into next week, we want to see a bounce. We want to see a bounce off of this 200-day. You can see we ended up getting to a high around $3.90. So right away, we know as far as that $4 level, it's become a psychological area. So this is an area that MMAT is definitely going to need to get past and then gain some momentum. Once it gains that momentum, then as far as for the next area of resistance to look out for will be right around this $4.25 level. If it does decide to pull back from the level where it's at sitting on the 200 though, then of course there's a lot of downside here. What I mean by that, it could pull back going even to as far as around $3.20. So taking everything into consideration, that 320 range is something to definitely look out for, and maybe depending on what the setup looks like, it might be able to bounce off of it. But if it doesn't, then of course there's more downward pressure. So that's what I want you guys to be prepared for, and let's see how it turns out next week for MMAT. So we're on Fintel. We're going to take a look at the short interest information for MMAT. So you can see the short volume ratio being at 30.19%. We scroll down on the page, the short shares availability is at 2.6 million, updated 10 minutes ago, and the short borrow free rate is at 5.83%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see here as far as for the close as of July the 15th, we have it here at 34.80, and then on the 14th being at 30.19. So definitely an increase there. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens later on in the evening when the numbers do come out. But knowing that it's this high pretty much means that short sellers are saying, you know what, there's more downside for as far as this stock is concerned. And that's one of the things I want you guys to be aware of. Due to the fact that the market did pull back, if we have a continuation of this market trend going into next week, then don't be surprised if you see more pressure being put on MMAT. MMAT stock. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for MMAT. So we can see here on the inflow, we have 11,757, and then on the outflow, we have 11,681. So we have 0 on the large for both. On the medium, we have 7,145, and then on the small, we have 4,612. On the medium for the outflow, we have 7,629, and as far as for the small is concerned, we have 4,051. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see here on the 15th and as well as the 16th, we have 0. So what does all of this mean? As far as going into next week, I would like to see a spike coming from MMAT, and I also want to see some strength in regards to bouncing off of that 200-day like we covered in the technicals. But of course, we'll go into some more details. Let's jump into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for MMAT metamaterials, it's definitely something to keep an eye on, keep it on your watch list going into next week. I definitely do see a spike that's going to be coming. I can't tell you exactly when that day is going to happen, but the spike will occur. I want to see strength off of that 200-day. If it ends up breaking through that 200-day, then of course you guys know what the downside risk can possibly look like. Another thing to understand when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest, of course there is short squeeze potential inside of this play. There are a lot of shorts that are in it, and it's part of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of manipulation going on with the overall stock price. But like I said, if you have high conviction and you believe in metamaterials as a company, then of course you should have no issues in regards to whether you're holding shares inside of this stock. If you're going with this strategy as far as making sure that you want to make money off the momentum, then I highly suggest you want to be buying on the dips, and then when it has those spikes, that's when you want to make sure you have the right exit plan, putting those limit orders in place and not getting your emotions in the way. Another thing to also go over as well, the market did pull back as a whole. So taking this into consideration, bears wanted to jump all over this. They already know, on the retail side, they're going to be selling out. People are going to be panic selling and so forth. So you already know that's going to add even more to the volatility that you see inside of the stock. So this is why it is very essential that you're doing your homework, you're doing your due diligence, and just making sure you know about the stock before pushing the buy button, especially if you're going long and you're planning to hold shares. You do not want to be going into a play without a strategy. I want to make sure I continually emphasize this for you guys. So as far as next week is concerned, I feel like if the market does pick up, MMAT should be able to benefit from it. But for the most part, as far as looking at the inflow, it does seem like there is some demand there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.